Oh my gosh, y'all. Hello. It's Tuesday afternoon. It's about 4:30. I have been busy today. Busy. Trying to get Mother's medicine box fixed. Trying to get this done, that done. I've had every appliance you can imagine out here. I had 3 different choppers out here. I couldn't find the blades for one of them. I couldn't find the plug-in for the other one, and this one I'm resorting to. Hell, I guess I've had everything out but the weed eater, and if I thought it could help me, I'd get it in the lawnmower to help me in the kitchen, because I've got the mixer out. I had to get a different mixer. I didn't use my KitchenAid because it's so heavy I can't lift it, so I got the Euro Pro out, and that's the one I'm going to use. And the chopper, this is the one that I broke the plastic thing on, but it still chops, so I guess that's all. It doesn't matter. But the pineapple. This is our homegrown pineapple, and I said during my birthday, I said I'm not going to make a cake until it's time to get the pineapple, and I'll make a cake that I want for my birthday cake out of the pineapple. So that's what I'm doing. Since the pineapple is not crushed, that's what you have to use in a jam cake, then I'm going to have to crush it, and since it doesn't have any juice, I improvised and I put applesauce with hot water. So I'll pulse this and I'll be back. Okay, I got the pineapple crushed, chopped up. I'm going to add a little more raisins to that because I like quite a bit of raisins. You need about a cup. So you need your 1 can of 8-ounce pineapple, but then you need a cup of the raisins also. And I also put in these maraschino cherries. Let me get my cutting board here because I cleaned the stove and I had it sitting down there. So I may get the small chopper, and I've got my little hand chopper that I could use if I really want to, which would be fine, I'm pretty sure. We're going to check it out. How about that? That goes on this thing, and then I'm just going to put the cherries down into the bottle. I mean, not the bottle. Put the bottle in the trash and put the cherries in the chopper. And this is that little hand chopper that comes in handy when you don't want to plug a bunch of stuff in. And I think if I keep it upright, it'll probably chop those just fine. It looks like maybe so. Let's set it down and then we'll check it. It's done pretty good. There's a few in there that didn't look like they were chopping too much. Want them chopped. Want them chopped up. Be like the king cake. Instead of getting the baby, you get a cherry. Everybody be happy because it's very tasty. We like the cherries in these. So I'm just going to chop it with my knife because that's just the way you do it. So let's just go ahead and add those to our pineapple mix and raisins. A little of that in there, and then that'll help get all that out of your bowl. You know, you would think this is not really a Christmassy cake or anything. See there, I've got it. Got that. You kind of let that sit so those raisins and stuff get soft in your pineapple juice from the can. So we're going to let that sit as long as we are working. And then I'll be back to do that. I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and cream my butter and sugar. So on this, I need, let's see, one. Okay, I need two. If I need a cup of butter, that would be 2 sticks. 2 sticks of butter. So let's get those in our mixer bowl. I always put that on top of my hands, that butter. I think that's what's kept my hands from looking aged over the years, because I rub olive oil and butter on them when I'm cooking. So now let's get our sugar, which is 1 cup. 1 cup of sugar. So I probably will do, no, I'm going to go ahead and do exactly as it is. I'm not going to try to skimp on this because I don't know how that would. I'm going to get my cane sugar, which is the all-white. But if I use it, then that's fine too. Let me get my knife, and I'm going to kind of flick that down in there. And I'll put my cup of sugar and start adding it, and then I'll be back once I get this going. Okay, I want to wipe my bowl down so that I can make sure it's all getting whipped. You want to do that about 5 or 7 minutes. Because you want that butter to whip in with that sugar. And if you do it, okay, I'm going to add my 4 eggs. I'm going to add them one at a time to this sugar and butter mixture. I'm going to add them one at a time. Then I'm going to beat that to where it beats it really well and gets it combined. Got to beat it well after each egg. So I'll be back just as soon as I get that done, so y'all don't have to hear all this contraption. Okay, let's check this. See how creamy that got. See how creamy. That just got very creamy there. Get that little daub up. Get this. Get the mixer. Get our workspace cleaned up. Kinda. And put this back in the pantry shelf so I don't have to worry about getting all tangled up in a wire and falling down or something. You never know, Billie Jean. I'm going to tell you. You just never know. So we got that. Let me get this whisk and get this off the spoon. Now then, that got real creamy. See how creamy that got? It's real creamy. That's what you want. So now to that, I'm going to combine my dry ingredients, but I'm going to put them in the bowl first to themselves, so I can make sure I've got exactly what I need. Let me get this bowl dried out that I'd washed. Really, Jean gets in here and messes anything up, you see. Okay. So now to that, we're going to put in our 3 cups of flour, and I'm going to use cake flour. I'm going to use the Swan's Down cake flour just because I want to. So use all-purpose flour, but I'm gonna do my Swan's Down. Now that, I like those where they are done right to the top. Now this does a good cake. I just like Swan's Down too. I usually take a knife and cut that off at the top so I can get exactly a 1 cup, but I'm not going to today. I'm getting it all over the place. Now, that's close enough to the barn for the chickens. That's close enough. Let me get some of this cleaned off. Okay, I just washed this floor and everything, so I'm gonna have it all over the place before I get out of here. I got the flour sifted, and that's 3 cups, and then I bring my little tray over here that's got my other stuff in it, so that I can get everything exactly right. You know, you gotta have everything just right with cakes and all that. Well, anything really. I'm gonna use my Hershey's cocoa. I don't have baker's cocoa. Well, this is baker's cocoa, but I don't have the other kind. So I'm just gonna add, till I can get 1/3 of a cup. Let me see. Almost. Let's do one more scoop. Oh, probably 1 more scoop. Okay, that's 1/3 of a cup. 1/3 of a cup of our baker's cocoa. Teaspoon of baking soda. I know I got it here. These are Dolly's. We'll get a teaspoon of our baking soda. I'm going to just go ahead and put that in there like chocolate, so I know I've got it in there. I've got my Vietnamese cinnamon. I'm going to use a teaspoon of Vietnamese cinnamon. One half teaspoon of nutmeg, but I'm going to grind it, and a half teaspoon of this cloves. You know, for a long time before I learned, I thought that this cake, this jam cake, was more or less the hummingbird cake. Well, no, it's not, because it has the pineapple in it, and I just thought it was about the same. And it's very similar, but it's not. So y'all probably knew that. I just didn't. So I'd see grandmother having a recipe for hummingbird cake, and then I'd see a jam cake, and I thought, well, why does she have two recipes, just different names? Well, no, it's totally different after I started learning to bake, you know. My hand is still hurting, you know, from the falling. So it starts kind of drawing a little bit. Okay, since I need a teaspoon of the nutmeg, let me get a whole nutmeg out of my nutmeg jar. And I'm just going to eyeball it, since I'm going to have to grate it. So I can tell a teaspoon, half a teaspoon. Well, it says teaspoon. Okay, so, oh boy, that smells so good, y'all. Let's get them close. Got just a small piece left. So once you pick that off, that'll be a teaspoon. Let's put it back in our jar. Get our nutmeg, go back in our jar. Till next time. Okay. Let me go ahead and dump our dry ingredients in there. And I'm going to get a different little whisk. And I'm going to just mix this up. Mix the chocolate and the nutmegs and the cinnamons and all that in there. I want to get it well combined. Okay, I thought I was through this mixture, but I decided that since my arm is not doing so well, I'm going to pull the mixture back out and use it to incorporate everything, so I don't have to sit there and mix this with my bad hand. So I'll be back in just a minute. Well, as you know, it would have been a flower storm in here. Looked like we was out on the prairie in the wagon with the dirt coming in. I dumped that flour in there and it just blew everywhere, so we look like we've been doing construction in here. That's all right. We'll get this done, and then we'll have a nice cake with everything that I've cleaned up earlier and dusted. It'll be right back, probably worse than it was, but that's okay. We'll get it done, won't we? Okay, so now I'm going to take a jar. I'm using the seedless great value Blackberry preserves, sugar-free, just because I need the sugar-free. And let me get a bowl up here. I'm going to take this and let me get another one of my spoons. And if I can, y'all, if I can. It takes might ought to do a fork. Maybe that'd be better. Get a fork and get this jam out of there. Once you get that down in there, it'll pour right out. So that's one whole jar of that. And that's why you call it a jam cake. Okay. Now then, I'll put the jam in there. And then I'm going to get 2/3 cup. I'm just going to use the low cultured buttermilk from Great Value. So I'm going to take 2/3 cup. That'll make that baking soda rise and do all its good thing, you know. I'm just going to go ahead and put that in with my jam. Just kind of, let's get that kind of mixed up there. I don't want to get any lumps out of it. And that mixture will probably do it fine. I'm just going to mix this all, and I'll be back. Well, you know, there's always something goes on. Well, I broke my measuring cup, and that just pissed me off because that was my grandmother's, and I've been so careful with it, but I set it on this sideboard, and when I did go by with my apron tail, it knocked it off. So it'll be all right. See how that buttermilk has fluffed that up by it just sitting there? It just fluffs that up. It just does it. I think I made too much cake. We still got to add our fruit to it. But that's okay. It'll be good. We'll get this incorporated. And I'll spray flour and oil grease and oil my pans. And then I'll get this stirred up and get them in there. Well, I overshot the moon. Y'all remember getting these pans when you was a kid, Mama letting you lick them, or Grandma? I wish y'all was here, y'all could lick this pan, because I made too big of a, I made too much. So now I've got four. Now I'm going to use the big oven. That's okay. I think it cooks better on cakes anyway than the confections, because I don't really like the way the confection does a cake. But I use it because it's quicker, you know. So I'm going to get these. I'm going to shake them down a little bit. Glad I've got quite a few cake pans. So we've got them. And we'll put them in the oven at about 350 for about 40 or 45 minutes. And I'll let y'all know when we get them taken out. Well, I got the kitchen cleaned up. The cakes are in the oven and they smell just extraordinary. It reminds me of Grandmother's kitchen because that blackberry jam, and the chocolate gives a permeation that you just cannot, there's no other smell than a jam cake. So I'm going to check and see. I'm just going to peek. Just going to peek. I would say about another 10 or 12 minutes But what I'm going to do now is I've got to make the icing. So let me get a pan and get the stuff, and I'll be right back. Okay, for this icing, I call it brown sugar frosting. And I use 2, which would be a cup, 2 sticks of butter melted. I've had this out so that I could get it done a little quicker. So I'll just melt that in my pan. And I'll put the 2 cups of packed brown sugar. I probably don't have but 1 cup in here. Let me get it to where I had one of those little bears that you put in your brown sugar and it would keep it. So we're going to put about 1 cup right there. That's about 1 cup. Let me get some more brown sugar. Okay, so there's another cup that's packed. And I filled my canister up, so I don't have to worry with that. Let me get one of my spoons so I can stir this. We're just going to stir that till that gets all dissolved. And now I might go ahead. Let me get these lumps out. The main thing, I didn't want lumps in it. So let me turn it up a little bit. So that's our butter and our brown sugar. Now, since I broke my measuring cup, I'm going to put a 1/2 cup of milk out of this glass here. I want to bring this to a boil. So I'll be back once that gets to boiling. We just want to bring that to a boil. And that's what it's starting to do. Okay. That's the boiling. So let's cut it off. And we're going to set this back and just let it cool down to just being warm. Then I'll show you what to do. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get our cakes out of that because I don't want them to get burned or nothing. So I'm just going to get them out and cut my oven off. Get those, see they're done. You can tell they're done, let them cool. And I'll move them over here. I'll put them on pot pads and move them over here off the stove so we can let them cool. Like you would on the windowsill. Grandma put some, and I already put some cakes on the windowsill. Came back and that old chicken had just got in that window and ate all the cake. Wasn't nothing but pecks in the cake. Said I guess this Sunday we won't have no cake, and we didn't. I guess old chicken needed it better than we did. Alright, so we're just waiting for this to cool down, to warm, maybe warm. Okay, our brown sugar mixture has cooled. And I'm going to put it in this bowl. Get all that out. It's just warm. Just barely warm now. And I'm going to get my powdered sugar. I've got more over here, but I'm going to use my hand mixer. And let me get this poured over here. I'm going to put about a cup at a time. So let me get about a cup. And I may not add 4 cups because, you know, I don't like all that sugar. But I'm going to whip this. Okay, I ain't got 2 or 3 hands, so I've got to get over here and get my other deal here. I thought that was powdered sugar, but I think that it was flour. So I may just have to not have a spreadable ice, because I don't think I have. After Christmas, I don't think I bought any more powdered sugar. Okay, I don't have any more powdered sugar, so that I had bought. I'm just gonna go ahead and I got my food processor out. I'll go ahead and make it. Let me get since I still needed about 2 cups of powdered sugar, let's let me get over the sink to do this. Get this measured. Okay, there's 1 cup of regular that's 2 cups of cane sugar, pure cane sugar. Now I can get that put back over here so I don't break it. Alright, now let me get cornstarch, because that's all powdered sugar is, regular sugar and cornstarch. So we'll do a tablespoon per cup, so that means we'll do 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to our 2 cups. So 2 tablespoons to 2 cups. That should work, if I remember correctly. Now I'm going to process this, and I'll be back. Okay, the food processor, would not work. So of course, thank God, I've got a big flour mill, but I didn't want to pull that out. So I just got my Instapot blender, and I've got all these wires, but I have to have them. You know, I have to have them. And so I got the Instapot blender, and now I can plug my mixer back in and continue with this. Let me get this out of the way. I hadn't even checked it, but I'm pretty sure it's powdered sugar. So there we go. We got powdered sugar. We got powdered sugar. So we'll need the rest of that in here. Let me get this towel right here. I'm going to get this towel, kind of swish that off. Get this towel and stick it here. Y'all, something's always going wrong, isn't it, with y'all too? See, now we've got that, so now we can go ahead and add, and I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to add our powdered sugar, 2 more cups to this. Okay, this is a cake plate. I'm going to put that on. My icing, I still needed probably about a cup more of powdered sugar, but I'm not going to do all that over again. It'll be just fine the way it is. And I'm going to take my first on the bottom and flip it onto my plate. Well, you can see all the raisins and pineapple and 1 cherry you can see right there. Now I'm going to see if I had 1 more, which this will be. Let me get my old icing tool that I use for so much, that I use for so many things. Now as this cools, it will get thicker, so I'm not too concerned about it. Not too concerned about it. I got that mess there. Look. Billie Jean. Billie Jean. By the time I get through all my cup towels, not all of them, but the ones that I have out, I've got sugar. Well, when I bake, y'all, I don't bake too many cakes. I should, but we don't need it. We do not need it. So let me get these assembled and I'll be back. All right, there's the second layer. Let me see if I put the third layer on there. That's going to be a tall cake, y'all. One of us should stop there or go on up. I guess we can just go on up. What y'all think? Might as well. I kind of like it a little better runny than I do having to spread it. Because it spreads right to the edge. I can tell that cake is going to be moist, so moist because of all the fruit, but yet because of that flour that we used. This is one of the thicker ones, I think. Here. We'll try to get that one out right on top. Now, I'm going to tell you that's at least, that looks like one of grandmother's cakes as tall as that is. Lord. Make sure it's sitting up there straight. Get this plate cleaned off. I'm going to let it, you have to straighten it up. Straighten it up. Okay. Now then, let me go ahead and get this up here so I can, that's way too much icing. But it's okay. Let's take, get that cleaned off. Get that cleaned off. Let's get this brown sugar icing. Just go right around the edge. There's a piece of fruit that come out. Now, if you wanted to, you can put pecans, on this. But Billy Jane can't eat pecans, so we're not doing pecans. Now, I think that if you want to add the pecans to the side, you could do it that way. Or a little coconut, whatever you want to do. It's your cake. Do it the way you want to. God bless you. God bless us. God bless the United States. I do wish y'all was here to have a piece of this jam cake. I guess I could try to cut it. If it falls apart, y'all just know it fell apart. That's all I know to tell you. It don't have to cool too much. I'm just going to cut a small piece, lift it out, so you can see the goodness of it. All right, there's the cake. There is the cake, and I can't stand it. I gotta have a bite. Oh, it's good. Well, that's a good one. I wish y'all was here. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.